Beach FM, locals talking to locals.
Beach FM, and wonderful to welcome back Ralph McAlister. Good morning to you, Ralph.
And good morning to you on this sort of wind-swept day, but never mind. It's spring, as we said the other day. And we're going to have daylight savings soon, aren't we? When is that?
Oh, goodness.
You don't know any better than I do. Okay.
Oh, it's shortly. It's shortly. I liked it when it was sort of Labor Day to Easter. You know, that sort of made a bit of sense to me. I think they've sort of stretched out that definition a wee bit. But no doubt in the fullness of time, I'll have to get up somewhat earlier on a Monday morning or on a Sunday morning than I want to. However, I believe you've been reading some Bob Woodward.
Well, there's quite a history there, John, because I've been a great fan of American politics. Not fan, but I've been deeply involved in them in terms of my own reading for over 50 years. And, of course, most people will know that by now that Woodward has just published Rage, R-A-G-E, about Trump and the incredible things that have been going on this year. And I got the book on Friday, and I started it on Friday night, I think, and finished it on Saturday morning. It's 400 pages.
Wow.
It's an extraordinary account of it's quite sick-making, really. I kept thinking, I don't know if I can read anymore, because it kept going back to this megalomaniac, and no matter what, Woodward did 17 interviews with Trump, all of which were recorded with Trump's permission, and he talked about out of the mouths of babes, or vicious babes. He's just condemned himself out of any belief that you have about his integrity, and the book is just probably going to cause more sensation in the worst and best sense than even the tapes for Nixon. Of course, it was Woodward and Bernstein, if you remember, who really unveiled Nixon's treacherous time. So it's, just every time I turn telly on, there's another comment about how wonderful I am. But when you read the book, and Woodward is very careful about interviewing, not expressing his opinion unless Trump asks for it. So you get these questions that he keeps asking Trump, and Trump, as is his norm, refuses to answer them. So where we're going, and of course now with the death of the Ginsburg, that's going to be another huge political issue. Will they get somebody onto the Supreme Court? So anyway, that's my sort of outburst. But I've just written an article, and I wonder if you might like to hear a little bit. And
please, yes.
Yes, I think it's only about 3 minutes, but I've headlined it for my newspaper, Capital Independent, Mad Dog or Wild Bull. I began a keen interest in American politics through reading Theodore H. White and his Making of the President series, which began in 1960 and continued in 64, 68, and 72. There was too Arthur Schlesinger's A Thousand Days, an account of Kennedy's time in the White House. Others followed. And then and now there was and is Bob Woodward, arguably the greatest reporter of ages past and present. His books offer genuine records of United States triumphs and disasters. He and colleague and friend Carl Bernstein have done more for the integrity of accurate journalism than all the cheats and liars and spokesmen mustered by Fox News and other agencies put together. When I read Fear, Trump and the White House last year, I thought that was it. I didn't need to learn anything more about this president. I felt almost tainted by reading of this man's amorality. How could he be who he was? How could he lie thousands of times and survive? How could he preach racism, hatred, revisionist history, a list of evil doings which challenges any semblance of credulity? Mary Trump offered truth in abundance in her Too Much and Never Enough, her version of her Uncle Donald. Others have tried to explain this personification of evil. But now, with Rage, we have the genuine version or versions from the man himself, Trump. Woodward recorded 17 interviews with Trump's permission, and they take up 20% of the book. The revelations are astounding, appalling, and quite possibly traitorous. He knew. As early as February of this year, he knew how the virus was transmitted. He misled the public with his magic solutions and remedies. He continues even today, as I write, saying that we have rounded the corner, just as the number of deaths in the US reaches towards 200,000. Rounding the corner. Try telling that to the bereaved. How do you live with such deceit as part of your conscience? Trump does. His megalomaniacal gene is present in almost all of the 400 pages of this brilliant piece of journalism. Not a page goes by without another example of Trump's self-aggrandizement. Woodward's final conclusion is as obvious as it is chilling. Quote, last line, Trump is the wrong man for the job. Read this masterpiece of journalism and perhaps ponder what Macduff says about Macbeth. Quote, Act 4, bleed, bleed, poor country. Great tyranny, lay thou thy bases sure, for goodness dare not check thee. In other words, enjoy everything you stole because your title is safe. Or is it?
Or is it? Yeah. Ralph, that is magnificent. I'm tempted to say, tell us what you really mean. And incidentally, Woodward's conclusion that he's the wrong man for the job, or I know I'm praising, that is most unusual with Bob Woodward. I don't think he's ever done that before. I don't think he's ever come to a conclusion. I think he's always let the reader reach their own decision about what they've just read.
And you're absolutely right, because he wrestled with himself and metaphorically with his wife about this final sentence, and he decided he just had to do it. It's the first time he's done it. You're absolutely correct. And he just says that, I've just got the page here, when his performance as president is taken in its entirety, I can only reach one conclusion, semicolon. Trump is the wrong man for the job. And that's it. That's the end of the book.
Wow. And incidentally, when you say wrestling with his wife, it might sound a little bit risque, but in fact, his wife is his editor and has been all the way through. So she is very, very much a very important part of that process. Ralph, that has been just magnificent. I think that we followed a similar line of political interest over the years, because I started off with those wonderful books about Kennedy, and I haven't really been able to let American politics aside, and I, like you, have been just horrified with what's happened in the last 3 and a bit years. Ralph, it's been a pleasure to talk to you once again, and thank you very much for your company here on Beach FM.
I'll try and get back to frivolity next week, but don't bank on it, okay?
106.3 Beach FM.